Today, we're choosing what type of book is better.
We got ebooks, we got audiobooks, we got physical books, we got scrolls.
No scrolls today, sorry.
No scrolls today. Paperback. And I know I'm in the minority here, but I love a good paperback. I am a hardcover queen. However, my last 2 books have been paperback.
Is it a regular paperback or is it a floppy paperback?
Paperback, always paperback. Paperbacks, you can really live in them. They bend in a way that hardcovers simply cannot. You can really just like hold it with one hand and really get into the book.
There's something about being able to like mold them, fold them over, like they become yours.
I recently learned about floppiness in paperbacks. It's a whole thing. And now that I know what it is, it actually makes so much sense, and I do find myself gravitating towards floppy paperbacks.
Hardcovers are limiting. When you read a hardcover, you limit yourself and you limit where you can read, how you can read, your comfort with reading. Paperbacks are always superior. Always. I feel very strongly about this. Always.
Physical books versus ebooks. I'm an analog girl in a digital world. I do physical books. So the thing about ebooks is that I'm already using technology all day, so it just reminds me of my laptop or like an iPad. Sorry, ebooks.
Physical books, always a paperback, never a hardcover, obviously. But paperback versus ebook, paperback, you know, it's one story, and if you finish it while you're on a trip, for example, you're done with the book. Whereas with an ebook, you can carry multiple books at once. So,
physical books, despite the fact that I definitely have an e-reader, and there's something about opening an e-reader and seeing that you have like 100 books to read that just makes my bookish heart so happy. But I'm team printed books, yes, because you can't beat that feeling of cracking open a book. Like you hear the like little spine cracking a little bit and you flip the pages and you smell the book. That is, you can't beat that. Just hands down, can't beat that.
So I think that there's kind of 2 different ways that I read. One is the act of reading, and that's self-care. That's when I have blocked off time and I'm getting under a blanket and I'm getting into my little book nook and I'm having a moment. And then there's reading on the go because I started a story while I was in my book nook and I'm so into it that I need to be reading it constantly until I get to the end, when I'm on the subway, when I'm walking down the street, when I'm in the kitchen, what have you. So ebooks, I think, are more convenient for those moments when you're like reading on the fly. But when I'm having like a me self-care book nook moment, it is with a actual physical book.
if I'm buying a book, I almost always prefer to buy a new book because I want to buy a new paperback that I can go on a journey with. I'm nothing if not consistent, but I'm happy to get a used book from a friend. If a friend has read the paperback and they've gone on the journey with the character and they want me to go on that journey, I'm happy to have that book. But I very rarely buy used books.
I typically buy new books, but I fully support used books. Well, here's the thing. All my books I keep. So my books go from being new to having a loving home that they never leave. So they're never used.
Used, I think. Because to me, the point of a book is that it's telling you a story. And it's kind of like cool and meta to know that there's a story behind the story that you're reading. Like that there's a story in the physical book that you have in your hands. And that book has a history and has been somewhere else in addition to the story that you're reading. Unless the annotations get in the way, and then I'll be annoyed.
Okay, so my answer's gonna be a cop-out. I'm new and used, because I think you should do both. New is great, because first of all, support your favorite authors. They need it, and we need more stories in the world. But when you go to a used book sale, that is one of the most enjoyable feelings ever. You go there and you're like, there is a treasure trove of stories from the past who knows how long that I'm just here to potentially discover. I have actually found quite a few authors by going to a used book sale and seeing, I wouldn't have ever picked this up before. I wouldn't have noticed it, but the cover is great or the description is great. I read a couple pages, I'm hooked. And then the author becomes my new favorite author, and I would have never discovered them otherwise.
Which has a better smell?
Used books. Used books definitely have a better smell because they've traveled the world. They've seen things. They've been in places, sometimes not good places, sometimes good places.
Ooh, this is controversial, but I'm gonna say new. It's like that new car smell, right? You crack it open and you're like, can't beat that. You just can't.
I'd say a new hardcover has a better smell and a used paperback has a better smell.
Listen, I get it. Everybody reads in their own way. We all have preferences, and those are mine.
No matter what format, though, as long as you are finding a story that you love and you're diving in, experiencing new worlds, meeting new characters, it doesn't really matter. I think all stories are great.
Every single form of reading, every single genre and product type and platform is valid. Just keep reading.
Listen, all kind of reading is valid. As long as you're reading a book, it's great. Read a book. But I think at the end of the day, it's simple math. Paperbacks are greater than ebooks, plus audiobooks are greater than hardcovers. Hardcovers are always last.